Hello everyone. So, this is the first and maybe even the last episode of Piecast. It's just a little idea I had in my head of me just talking, if anyone even cares, but basically on any other topics, I guess, that I could think of. But for this one, it's just a trial. If it pretty much goes to shit and maybe like 2 people look at it, I probably won't really bother doing it unless I really enjoy it, obviously. But the first episode, I guess, is basically how I even got here, so the covering side of it anyway, and it technically would be how I got my YouTube. I'll probably cut some of this out because I don't want it to be fucking long, but basically, here we go. So, before I even got into covering, I actually got into basically J-pop music. So for instance, Hello Project was definitely the big thing. So for those who don't know, Hello Project is a company in Japan that basically started things like groups like Morning Musume and Berries, Kobo, and Cute, or however you pronounce cute, if it's C-UTE, whatever it is. But basically, I discovered them on YouTube, especially Cute's Masara Blue Jeans. Masara Blue Jeans, these girls are really, really young, and I was pretty much really shocked that they were this young and they had this thrusting move in it, saying, "Love me, love me, love me." And I was like so traumatized at first. I'm like, why are they letting these girls do this? This is horrible. And then basically what happened is the song was so catchy that I was like, God damn, this is a good song. And then that's when I listened to all these other things that they did, and I guess what it made me want to do is actually learn the dance with my friends, just because it's so ridiculous, but it was fun and easy to remember. Then down the track, I found some other group online that actually performed in their own country, so it was in, I think it was in Texas. I'm pretty sure that they're still active, but they're called something else. I didn't want to kind of put names out there, unless they want me to. I mean, I can always put that in the description. But basically, I wanted to perform in basically J-pop music with my friends. But the problem is that in Australia, we're obviously a lot harder. I guess the community around there was very not existent, is basically what I'll say. So then what pretty much happened, now that we're actually talking about covering, is one of the members actually pointed me to a forum called Yo Project, and that was basically all J-pop, run by a couple of weebs. No, I'm kidding. Girls, ladies, men. Was there men that was running it? I think they were just women. Basically, that's when I met a couple of people down the track, but I first started in a Berries Kobo permanent group, and that's pretty much how I started. So for instance, that forum pretty much gave me a lot of good criticism and good feedback on my voice, because I was very pitchy. You can still find some really old videos of me singing, please don't search them, but they were just so they were so bad, and not even counting the mixing back then. I mean, everyone was so shit at mixing. Obviously everyone improved, I hope, but there was just a lot there. The timing and everything, it was just gone to shit, but no one cared because they just wanted to, put something out there, and that was pretty good on that end. Then eventually I started joining all these other projects. Like, everyone started their own little entertainment groups and their own forums and everything like that. I can't really remember some of the names, to be honest. It was so long ago. I can't even remember when I actually started. I know my YouTube was created in 2009, so I guess it was around that, or maybe a little before. But basically, I started getting a lot of experience in these other groups and joining everyone's collabs and permanent groups. Basically, it was solely old J-pop, so I pretty much just stuck to that, because, for instance, I learned Japanese in primary school and high school, so that's pretty much when it was a lot easier for me to pronounce everything. Then, I guess, that's when I pretty much created my YouTube channel, and how I came up with that stupid name, Baka Pie, which I still hate, but I don't want to create another channel. because it took me so long to get to this point of having so many subscribers. I think I have about 250 so far, which isn't as high compared to other people's, but I mean, that's probably my peak. So basically, the most part, all I did was just do collabs. I didn't host anything myself because I was still like, what the fuck is mixing about? There was one particular forum, I guess it was back then when no one really used YouTube that much. Like, they didn't really care for the responses that they got. They just wanted to maybe sometimes upload it there. One of the groups that I joined was not even related to YouTube at all. They would just do everything on their own, and if you wanted to listen to the collab, they put up like an MP3 of it online that you can listen to. But this particular group, it was all on the forum, just that sole forum. So if anyone wanted to listen to a collab from there, they would have to be a member, and they would have to... Basically, the lady that pretty much hosted it, she just wanted everyone to be in that group, and that all other comments, everything came from just that group. So I was pretty much ambitious back then, because I was still learning how to sing better and work on my pitch. I remember in my old house, I would sit on this really shitty old mattress and record with like this little crappy little microphone, and that was when we didn't really care about, I guess, the quality. But I remember like screaming and learning songs. I was just a terrible singer, and eventually I got better, obviously. Well, better than I was. But yeah, I was very ambitious. So that particular group on the forums, for some reason I had this thing where I wanted to have a solo there, like not mix it, someone else mixes it, but I just wanted that solo. And I remember I messaged her and I actually said, look, hey, when can I get a solo? Like, can I get that now, or can I wait a bit? Her response was basically pretty much exactly, you will never get a solo. I don't know if that was because my voice was shitty, but the way she ran everything, the people that got the solos were everyone that was there for a long time with her or her besties. So I guess that's when I guess I felt shot down, but in my head I was thinking, I'm fucking gonna get this solo. I don't care what she says, it's gonna happen. Actually, a few months pretty much after that, I did get the solo. But I'll be honest with you, pretty much it's still the same now. For me, or for anyone to get to a certain top, it's still something that happens even in real life, but basically you need to suck up to that person. I remember mixing for her and trying to get myself involved in all of her projects. I didn't even know why. Like, her mixing wasn't even that great, but I guess back then it was great to me then. I don't know. I sucked up, pretty much. And everyone still does it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it anymore. I think it's just something some people have to do. And if you don't want to do it, don't do it. But basically, it was back then when I was still learning who was who. I didn't know who was a bitch in real life to other people. Like, I didn't really care about who talked about who behind their back. I wasn't really involved in that kind of gossip. But basically from then on, she was pretty much, the main person in that forum, and I was thinking, fuck, man, I need to get that solo. But yeah, so I actually did end up getting it, and I kicked ass, if I remember correctly, and I was very proud of myself. And I guess it's funny, because that was the only forum that only the cast members would comment, but because I got that solo, I didn't really want the comments. I just wanted to get that part, which is kind of crazy, because now everyone just pretty much only cares about the comments and the views. Unfortunately, that's just how life is, and that's still something we'll have to face. We're all pretty much all insecure, let's be honest, and we're all starving for attention. So eventually, I pretty much, as soon as I got that solo, I started losing interest in the group, because I guess that was my peak in that group. I was like, you know what, I don't really care about this anymore. Eventually she kind of shifted everything again, and I was part of this totally different other group, little subgroup that she had. But then down the track, I was like, you know what, I have other things to focus on, because that's when I started to mix for myself and doing all these other different things on my own. Pretty much I started putting everything on that Yo project and maybe a little bit on my YouTube. But down the track, I started making friends with Fair and Little Menchie and Logan and May May. If some of them are even hearing, I don't even know if they're here. Hello. But yeah, basically I thought, they're the cool people. They're people I could pretty much trust. And still today, I still believe I can, because I guess back then, there might have been people you thought were your friends, but then turns out they actually talk shit behind your back. Not these ones, obviously, that I just listed, but it's just something that you need to get through. Like, some people are shit to you, some people are just great. Okay, let's be honest, there's probably still some that I'm like, I can't believe this person is like this. And also, around that track, that's when actually K-pop music started to kind of grow. Some people were uploading all these other things. I didn't really have interest in it that time, because the language sounded really complicated. I didn't know any songs. Although, it was way before, actually, I found a SHINee Dance for Lucifer, and I was really fascinated about it, and I always kept looking at it, even though I had no interest in K-pop. I didn't even really know it was K-pop. It was just something I was fascinated with. Basically there was some other dramas that was going around, so I won't get into the details, but basically there was a forum themselves as well that were hugely popular. Basically what happened is they put me in this subgroup for Melon Kanembi, which is another J-pop group. I always asked them when would they release this, because all of us gave our lines, and that was when basically I wanted something to get released with my name in it. I'm a lot different now, so for instance, if people give me lines or I give them lines, I'm pretty much not going, when is that going to be released? It's pretty much going, okay, eventually this will be released. But pretty much what happened was the group were obviously really busy, and that's fair enough. But basically what happened is, this is when I started using my Facebook a bit more, because I didn't really have it for quite some time. I actually started to clean out my friends list, so I removed a couple of people because I never talked to them. I didn't even know who they were, but turns out, I guess one of the main persons from that forum was actually her that I actually deleted. I didn't really give a fuck because I'm like, well, I don't talk to you there. I don't even use my Facebook. But anyway, eventually I got a message from her on that forum that said something like, how dare you remove me from your Facebook? Pretty much, you'll never work with us again. You're out of this project. Oh my god, I was so pissed off, because I'm like, really? We're gonna fight over a Facebook post? Like, I can add you again if that's what you want. Pretty much, they didn't reply to me ever again, but I was at that point where it's like, fuck your project, basically. Still salty to this day, but a little less every time the year goes past. I don't know how they're doing now. I don't really give a fuck. I don't even remember what her name was. I remember what her face looked like, because I guess that's when I looked back on her Facebook going, what? I deleted you? Okay. But it was her real name. Like, how was I supposed to know that was her? But anyway, let's go past that. So basically, that's when I found out that people are just stupid. We sing things online. Pretty much that's it. If people take things personally, and still even today people take things personally, just get over it. So basically, anyway, I was struggling with my own projects, so I had like an Idolmaster permanent group, I had a AAA permanent group. Basically what happened is, with Idolmaster, it was so hard because I had so many people in that group and it was just me running it. Everyone was getting busier. I guess even my focus on Idolmaster kind of went past, because I kind of got over the songs. I didn't really care for the characters anymore because I was so passionate about having it in the beginning. So eventually that died down when everyone else started getting busy anyway. AAA, I had kind of the same kind of problem where I kept having to change people because a lot of people were leaving. They're still today people I probably still talk to, or they're very prominent still in the community. But I just pretty much lost my interest in AAA as well, unfortunately. And pretty much I just kind of let that die down. I'm a terrible hoster. Anyway, around that time, forums started dying as well. So for instance, your project pretty much died, everything else died, or if they're still active, I have no idea because I just stopped coming to them. And that's when YouTube became a lot more prominent and everyone started to just focus on I guess, searching for collabs on there. Like, for instance, I think I remember putting in, like, K-pop cover auditions, something like that, and I would go from there. And then, this is way before Facebook became even popular from that point. But anyway, I started practicing Korean stuff. Everyone also started shifting more into Facebook as well as their YouTube. Eventually I released something in Korean. I can't even remember what it was, to be honest. I think it was a U-Kiss song. And that was pretty good to sing. It wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. I was pretty much listening from ear and working out how to pronounce it from there. Even still today, I can read it, but it's just a lot easier for me to listen to how it goes as well, so I can just follow that way. But yeah, I'm still not that great at Korean, but hey, it's fun to sing songs that are catchy. And that's pretty much where I was fully into K-pop. So for instance, EXO was the big thing in my life, and that was like, damn, everything is great on here. Wasn't really an EXO-K fan, actually. I was actually a EXO-M fan, so that was just the Mandarin version. And pretty much eventually I started to learning the EXO-K members and everything like that, and pretty much just wanted to cover everything for EXO. So if I saw a collab audition for it, I was like, fuck man, I'm gonna be in that. And just basically that's when I started to get more involved with the community and seeing what everything is like. So for instance, everyone is very, very salty at the time, probably still are, but god, it was just still drama pretty much. So I feel like no matter where you go in every community, there's going to be some kind of drama. Lines aren't really being mixed, people were getting salty about that. I think that's when I started to mix collabs for K-pop as well on my channel. But pretty much there was a lot of drama. I didn't really understand most of it. Kind of wanted to listen to some of it just so I can sip my tea. But basically, I started just forming my own groups. Just because I had so many lines of things that I recorded for people, and then they just never mixed it or they let it die. So I don't know if that's because, you know, other people weren't giving in lines, the person might have lost, I guess, their interest in it, or the people that gave the lines weren't what they expected, and then they kind of just let it die. But pretty much what happened is I formed my own groups now, and pretty much I feel like I'm kind of out of the K-pop community just because of all the shit that goes down. I don't know if it's any better. It probably is. From what I can see. So for instance, if I see new people that are just entering, I'm always trying to welcome them and be as nice as possible and not go instantly letting them kind of find out that it's really hard to get to the top. But pretty much with my own groups, I now work with, I don't think is really the right term, but pretty much the people that I work with, they are actually really good. I trust them all. They're all genuine people. Pretty much what I would recommend for anyone who's starting in the community or weren't really aware, if you have trouble, I guess, working with people where you know that they are pretty much shit to you or talk behind your back, I wouldn't bother working with them. If I had a bad experience with someone, I probably wouldn't work with them anymore. But pretty much the people that I work with now for all my little permanent projects, they are people that I trust. So they're great people. Pretty much I'm not saying to isolate yourself with only specific people. I mean, go ahead and meet new people because you never know if they're genuine. But pretty much I'm in a small little group in myself and now only talk to specific people or none at all for a certain period of time. I guess that's what happens when people live in all different types of the world. I still like to talk to people here and there. I mean, we always have the same kind of struggles of wanting to use our YouTube accounts. But basically what I've learned from the whole journey from starting out to now is that you can't really escape the negativity that goes around. Pretty much not even just in this community. There's always negativity everywhere. We're also mostly insecure. But pretty much I've learned to kind of step back, because that kind of works for me. Still be salty about certain interactions with people, or pretty much how my videos turn out to be, but basically you just look back at everything and you go, wow, I've pretty much done a lot, really. I've pretty much progressed. I've learnt, hopefully, a bit more in singing, but now I'm kind of at this point where I want to seek a totally new passion on the YouTubes. I'm just not sure what that is just yet, but there is a couple of ideas that I want to kind of try out. If you're all interested, that would be fantabulous. But basically, this is just a start with this video. So again, if this doesn't go well, I am screwed. But basically, I thought, let's give it a shot. Let's start. Sorry if you have to listen to my voice. It is quite annoying. But I'm trying to learn how to talk like an individual. I have some other ideas of some YouTube, things to talk about for this podcast thing, but basically I'd be very interested in any kind of suggestion that you have, maybe even a suggestion on how this went. For instance, you ramble a lot, your accent it doesn't make sense, and that's fair. It's just something that happens when I record, so for instance, this probably isn't what I sound like, but in real life, but if it's interesting to hear, then that's great. I haven't been recording singing for a while just because I have had a cold and I'm still struggling with it, so for instance, it's possibly even getting worse. But I'm still gathering everything for my collabs, so if you weren't aware, I created another channel quite some time ago. I think I only have maybe 10 subscribers, maybe even less. But it was basically going to be where I'd put all my collabs and everything like that, all my permanent groups on there. So if you ever want to listen to those, subscribe to that, please, because it's very sad looking at the moment with there being only a welcome video. Basically, I'm waiting for so many lines at this point. I'm so close to finishing one. I just need to pretty much poke people to go, please give me lines, but also at this time, I'm not a pushy person as a hoster. I guess that's another kind of suggestion for some people. So if you want to definitely get lines, if you need to constantly remind people to give it, do it. Because with me, I'm too nice. But at the same time, I'm the person that understands other people that have personal kind of things to work out first. So for instance, with this collabing, it's not a priority for some people, and that's fine because this is a hobby. I know there's some people that probably use these to get to possibly wanting to be a singer when they're older, or basically work out to be a bit more famous, but for me, it's more of a hobby. I like to mix just because it's something that I like to do. I like to release it and let people hear themselves in their groups, especially a song that I really enjoy or a group that I enjoy. So that's why I always happen to create all these permanent groups. I really need to stop making them, but I can't help it. But basically, I have a couple of groups so far. You probably already heard of them a million times or seen some covers. But basically there's even some new ones that I'm hoping to actually release. But yeah, I don't know if I'll ever stop mixing collabs, even though I've kind of stopped listening to K-pop altogether. But I'll still keep my eye open to my favorites that I always do. At least I can focus on just the groups that I have, and if it ever dies out because people have lost interest or I've lost interest, I'm gonna definitely work on the last thing before I let anything die down. So if you're in my group and it seems like I'm always pushing things way late for months, I am very sorry. But I don't want to push people into forcing themselves to work themselves after work or school or whatever they do. So for instance, every time I finish work, I do full hours. I'm like, fuck, I am tired. I can't even play video games because I'm just so goddamn tired. But basically, there's some things that I'm hoping to release in future. This is something that's a trial. Again, it's a trial. If this is terrible or it's not something you're interested in, you know what, just put it in the comments. I'll take anything at this point. But anyway, if this was pretty much just an audio cast of just nothing but me talking crap, then that's, to be honest, fair. But yeah, so I need to stop talking because I'm done with my little journey. Just to let you know, for those who are still subscribed and still listen to me, I really appreciate that you're still here, even after all this time of me uploading nothing, or just randomly putting up something that you're not interested in, or sounds like terrible music. But hopefully down that track, I'll upload something that you'll actually be interested in, and make you go, wow, this is great. I'm gonna maybe share this to other people that might be interested, maybe. Anyway, I need to stop. So thanks for listening if you got up to this point, and if this is something that you actually want to share yourself as well in your own little thing of how your journey was in the covering world, then I'd really appreciate it if you guys even made your own. If you don't do covering at all and still subscribe to my channel, I really appreciate it. And I'm sorry for uploading the stuff that you have no interest in, and I'm hopefully down that track of uploading things that you are interested in. Now again, sorry for talking. We're almost up to 30 minutes, so I'm definitely gonna cut this down. So thanks for listening, and have a lovely day, and I'll see you guys later. So bye. Love you. Please subscribe and like and comment and share. Bye.